Hey Chrissy, you coming?
I'm on my way. So, what's on?
It's a Iacademy video. It's a video on biology subject called nutrition. Let's begin the show.
Good evening. Welcome to Iacademy.
Thank you!
There are a lot of things to know about nutrition. We have divided them into several subtopics to understand the concept better. The first one is what is life? Second one is food, for thought or body? The third one is what is nutrition? The fourth one is autotrophic nutrition. The fifth one is heterotrophic nutrition. The sixth one is human digestive system, and the last one is nutrition deficiency diseases. We have made one video for each subtopic to know them in detail and in a conceptual manner.
That's great.
And you can ask your questions and doubts in the comment section given below. Answer will be posted within 24 hours.
That's great. Wow! It's useful for our school project and exam. Hooray!
Yeah, moreover it's absolutely free. Why late? Subscribe to Iacademy.
As discussed before about the subtopics, let us learn about nutrition. Let's start. Let us start with what is life? You know what? Individually, every component of cell are non-living chemical substances. For example, cell membrane, DNA, water, ribosomes, etc. Sir, I have a question. If every component of cell is non-living, then how are we considered as living beings? That is why I mentioned individually. Individually, every component of cell is non-living thing. Collection of them forms a living organism. Make a note on it. Everything that we see on our earth is side steps of these two major processes. These processes apply to every single organism. This is called life process. Sir, what are the two major processes? 1. How do I reproduce? 2. How do I feed myself? Why do we need to eat? Because it gives us energy to carry out various functions in our body. Correct, my child. Every cell in our body requires this energy for a living. Energy plays a vital role in our daily life activities. We need food to obtain energy and build up the body. Now let us learn about nutrition. So what is nutrition? It is defined as a process which involves the utilization of food or nutrients by the organism to obtain energy for growth and development. I have a question. What are nutrients? Nutrients are the essential components or substances present in food of living organisms. Let us learn about necessity of nutrition. Number 1. For energy required to carry out various functions. Number 2. For building up new protoplasm, living substance, or cells for growth, development and healing. Number 3. For protection from diseases and infection. Number 4. To provide raw materials to perform various functions to sustain life. There are two kinds of nutrition, namely autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Describe about them in detail, sir. That's why I'm here. Let us learn about autotrophic nutrition first. In the term autotrophic, auto, which means self, and trophic means nourishing. Under this nutrition, the organisms self-nourish themselves. That means they can prepare their own food. Could you name the process in which organisms make their own food? Kind of example. I don't know, sir. Don't worry. Photosynthesis process is the example for autotrophic nutrition. Could you give me an example? Which organisms possess photosynthesis?
I know the answer. Green plants possess photosynthesis.
Exactly. Let us know about photosynthesis in detail.
We are approaching a redwood tree. To animate a scientifically accurate leaf, artists study the texture of a redwood leaf specimen on a glass slide at high resolution. They even counted the stomata, and used an exact count for this film. These leaves would be measured on a centimeter scale. Throughout the animation, we will gradually zoom into smaller scales. As we approach a single stoma, we are now on a millimeter scale. As we enter the interior of the leaf, we see many individual palisade cells. These cells are where photosynthesis takes place. They are translucent to allow sunlight to enter. As we approach a single palisade cell, we'll zoom down to the micrometer scale. The shapes inside the cell are organelles. The bright globules at the bottom are the Golgi apparatus. The yellow spotted tubes are endoplasmic reticulum studded with ribosomes. The faint yellow spiderweb structure of the cytoskeleton provides structure and support to the cell. You are about to enter a chloroplast. Inside you see flat, pancake-like membranous structures called thylakoids. This is where the light-dependent reactions of photosynthesis take place to produce ATP. The time scale has changed. The molecules are shown moving 1 million times slower than in real life, as we near an individual thylakoid. The animation scale continues to shrink down to the molecular level, where things are measured in nanometers. The green and blue bush-like structures are photosystems, clusters of proteins that absorb light energy from the sun and help convert it into the chemical energy that's stored in the bonds of the energy carrier molecule called ATP. The yellow-green, rotating structure is an enzyme called ATP synthase. It pumps protons from one side of the thylakoid membrane to the other, assembling ATP molecules in the process. The pulses of light in the thylakoid membrane in which the photosystems are embedded represent energized electrons being passed from one photosystem to another, passing along the energy which will be stored in the bonds of ATP.
It is so amazing. The photosynthesis process in plants is a wonderful life process.
Yeah, let us watch the photosynthesis process in detail.
Let us learn about photosynthesis.
Sir, you have shown us a video of photosynthesis.
Yeah. Let us learn about photosynthesis in this video in detail.
Sure, sir.
So, what is meant by photosynthesis?
It's a process by which plants make their own food.
Photosynthesis. In the term photosynthesis, photo which means light, and synthesis which means to bring together.
Which materials are required for the process of photosynthesis?
Sir, plants bring together various components, such as water, sunlight, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll. 6 carbon dioxide molecules, plus 12 water molecules, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, gives rise to glucose plus 6 oxygen molecules plus 6 water molecules.
How plants make their own food using photosynthesis, sir?
Good quest. Actually, photosynthesis can be seen in 2 perspectives. 1, matter, and the other is 2, energy.
How can photosynthesis can be seen in terms of matter?
For example, take the equation of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide and water molecules together form glucose. Simple compounds together form complex compound. Hence it's an anabolism process. It can be seen in perspective of matter.
That's nice. What about energy?
You're too smart. For example, take the fruit or a tuber. Sunlight, which means light energy, is converted into simple, stored chemical energy in form of fruit or vegetable.
That's nice. Tell me more about photosynthesis in detail.
Why not? But make sure subscribe to Iacademy for post notifications. As we all know that, in a plant root system, plays a vital role as it absorbs water from the soil. This water is transported up to the stem and to the leaves. Leaves take in carbon dioxide which diffuses through the stomata. In the cross-section of leaf, we can observe the carbon dioxide and water molecules moving around in the air spaces. Both carbon dioxide and water molecules pass through the cell membrane of a special cell. It's called special cell as it contains chloroplast organelle. Chloroplast is green in color. It contains two regions. 1. Empty space forms stroma. 2. Stacks form grana. Finally, carbon dioxide and water molecules gets absorbed into the chloroplast. Carbon dioxide molecules remains in the stroma, while water gets absorbed into the grana. Inside the grana, the bond between hydrogen and oxygen molecule is really unbreakable. They can't break their bond on its own. This is where our mighty sun comes to the rescue. Chloroplast has the capacity to harness the energy of sun. This radiant energy is absorbed by the grana and splits the water molecule. Water gets split into two H+ atoms, plus 2 electrons, plus 0.5 oxygen atom. Remaining 0.5 oxygen atom diffuses out and mixes or combines with another oxygen atom to produce or form oxygen molecule. These oxygen molecules now move out of the cell and into the intracellular spaces. This oxygen molecule diffuses out through stroma and enters the atmosphere, and H+ ions are now used to create or produce energy-rich molecules, such as ATP. ATP is highly energetic and unstable. It can't be stored inside the cell for a long time. Hence, ATP is now used to fix the carbon dioxide molecules. This is where carbon fixation takes place to form glucose. This glucose is now transported and reach the fluent of the midrib by diffusion. This glucose gets transported to all parts of the plant.
Subscribe and press the bell icon to get post notifications.
Oh my God! It's raining. Don't worry. Here is your new teacher. My name is John. I'm here to teach you about heterotrophic nutrition. What is meant by heterotrophic nutrition?
Sir, I know the answer. It's a nutrition in which organisms depends on others for its nutrition.
You're correct. In biological terms, hetero, which means others, and trophic, which means nourishing. Under this nutrition, organisms gets nourished by others. They cannot synthesize their own food from simple inorganic substances and depends on other for their nourishment.
Sir, what could be the example for heterotrophs?
Humans, animals, birds, etc. Heterotrophic nutrition is divided into 3 types. Number 1. Saprophytic nutrition. Number 2. Holozoic nutrition. Number 3. Parasitic nutrition. What is meant by saprophytic nutrition? It's a mode of nutrition in which organisms break food outside the body and then absorb it. Example for a saprophyte are bread mold, mushrooms, yeast. What is meant by parasitic nutrition? It's a mode of nutrition in which organisms live on or inside the body of another organism and directly absorb from the host. A better example could be Cascada europea, and also orchid, lice, leech, tapeworms, etc.
How's the new teacher?
Is good at teaching. The explanation about heterotrophic nutrition is amazing. How do you feel?
That's what I felt. I'm very much impressed with his teaching.
Hello, audience. How do you feel about Iacademy? Is it good? Let us know in the comments section below.
Without any further ado, let's start watching about holozoic nutrition.
What is meant by holozoic nutrition?
In scientific terms, holo, which means whole, and zoikos, which means animal, which means the animals which takes their food whole.
Sir, how can we define holozoic nutrition?
Nutrition that takes place in free-living organisms is called holozoic nutrition.
Sir, how does it take place?
In this, the organisms takes the food as a whole, digest it, assimilate it, absorb it and finally eliminates the waste material from our body. Let me tell what is meant by ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion. Ingestion, complex food is taken into the digestive system through mouth or opening is called ingestion. Digestion, the food particles are broken down into simpler forms by the process of digestion. Absorption, vital nutrients are absorbed by the body through absorption. Assimilation, digested nutrients are used to make material known as assimilation. Excretion, the waste material is eliminated from the body through digestion.
In which organisms this nutrition takes place?
Amoeba, Paramecium, Iacademy, humans, etc.
How does nutrition take place in amoeba?
Actually, amoeba is a unicellular, primitive organism which undergoes holozoic nutrition. In this, pseudopodia is present all over the body and it's responsible for the change in the shape of organism. Whenever it finds food particles near to it, it projects finger-like structures across the food particles and draw it into the body along with some amount of water to form food vacuole. This food vacuole secretes some digestive enzymes and breaks down the food particle into smaller ones. Then it will be absorbed into the body and utilizes for different metabolic activities and waste food is sent out of the body through diffusion. Let me show you how amoeba grabs food particles with the help of diagram.
Amoeba is irregular shaped unicellular organism containing nucleus and cytoplasm. This is your cytoplasm. Here we are concerned with the nutrition in amoeba. For nutrition in human beings, you can see the video of alimentary canal. The red color is your food particle to make the nutrition clear to you. This is food particle. Whenever there is food particle around the amoeba, it forms temporarily finger-like extension of the cell surfaces called as pseudopodia to capture the food particle. These are called as pseudopodia. Pseudo means false, podia means legs. These are like false legs. It actually helps amoeba in locomotion also, so they are called as pseudopodia. Pseudopodia of the opposite surfaces fuse to form food vacuole. In food vacuole, complex substances are broken into simpler substances which then move into the cytoplasm. This is food vacuole for digestion of food. This is food vacuole. Now in the food vacuole, food is broken down and the undigested food particle is moved to the surface of cell and thrown out. Here the food come inside like this. This is the red color, that is your food particle. So this is your amoeba and nutrition in amoeba.
Now let us see how nutrition takes place in Paramecium. Cilia, in Paramecium, is responsible for locomotion and food capsule. With the help of cilia, food will be captured. Paramecium is also called a slipper animalcule. It's a unicellular organism and has definite shape. It has oral groove at the middle of the body called as cytosome, through which food particles are drawn into the body with the help of cilia. Food vacuole is formed around food particles with some amount of water. This food vacuole secretes some digestive enzymes and break down into smaller particles and gets absorbed into the body for metabolic activities. Waste is sent out through anal pore. This is how nutrition takes place in holozoic organisms.
Nutrition in amoeba and Paramecium is very interesting. I loved it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, ask me, Kursi.
Which organism is called slipper animalcule?
That's good question. Paramecium is called slipper animalcule.
Samir, you are listening and understanding very well.
All credit goes to Iacademy. The way they teach and explains is so wonderful. I fall in love learning on Iacademy.
Without further ado, let us learn about human digestive system.
Look at this juicy burger. Doesn't it look appetizing? It has so many good things in it that my body needs. Protein and fats in the meat and cheese, carbohydrates in the bun, vitamins, minerals and fibre in the salad. But how can I use them? I need to get them into my blood and this burger is never going to fit. That's where digestion comes in. Digestion is the process of breaking down food to make it soluble in the blood. You can digest food in two ways, mechanically and chemically. When I put this burger in my mouth, I do both types of digestion. My mouth breaks it down mechanically using my teeth. This mashes up the food into smaller pieces. My saliva carries out chemical digestion. It contains an enzyme called amylase. That takes the big starch molecules you find in the bun and breaks them into smaller pieces called maltose. However, this is just the beginning of the digestive journey, and a lot more needs to happen before this burger is going to be small enough to be absorbed into the blood and taken around to all my hungry cells that need the nutrients. The next stage of digestion are summarised in the next videos of the journey. Humans carry out internal digestion as the food is digested inside our bodies. However, other organisms digest the food outside their bodies. Fungi, for example, are called saprotrophs. This means that they secrete enzymes out of their cells onto food around them and then absorb the nutrients once they have been broken down. Houseflies do a similar process where they secrete a solvent onto the food and then suck up the nutrients. Lovely. Imagine spitting on your burger until it's just a soup and then eating it. Yuck. Anyway, let's get back to humans. The whole process of digestion can take a long time. It takes 6 to 8 hours for food to pass through the stomach and small intestine, and almost 40 hours before you see the remains of your burger coming out the other end. Probably the most amazing thing about digestion, however, is that a lot of it isn't actually done by ourselves, but by 100 trillion bacteria living inside our guts. They help break down certain foods for us, make vitamins, and help with the immune system. So there you go. With the crushing, some enzymes, and some friendly bacteria, you can turn this juicy burger into small, soluble molecules that can be carried around in the blood.
Planet, humans eat on average between 1 and 2.7 kilograms of food a day. That's over 365 kilograms a year per person, and more than 28,800 kilograms over the course of a lifetime. And every last scrap makes its way through the digestive system. Comprised of 10 organs, covering 9 meters, and containing over 20 specialized cell types, this is one of the most diverse and complicated systems in the human body. Its parts continuously work in unison to fulfill a singular task, transforming the raw materials of your food into the nutrients and energy that keep you alive. Spanning the entire length of your torso, the digestive system has 4 main components. First, there's the gastrointestinal tract, a twisting channel that transports your food and has an internal surface area of between 30 and 40 square meters, enough to cover half a badminton court. Second, there's the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, a trio of organs that break down food using an array of special juices. Third, the body's enzymes, hormones, nerves, and blood all work together to break down food, modulate the digestive process, and deliver its final products. Finally, there's the mesentery, a large stretch of tissue that supports and positions all your digestive organs in the abdomen, enabling them to do their jobs. The digestive process begins before food even hits your tongue. Anticipating a tasty morsel, glands in your mouth start to pump out saliva. We produce about 1.5 liters of this liquid each day. Once inside your mouth, chewing combines with the sloshing saliva to turn food into a moist lump called the bolus. Enzymes present in the saliva break down any starch, Then your food finds itself at the rim of a 25 centimeter long tube called the esophagus, down which it must plunge to reach the stomach. Nerves in the surrounding esophageal tissue sense the bolus's presence and trigger peristalsis, a series of defined muscular contractions. That propels the food into the stomach, where it's left at the mercy of the muscular stomach walls, which pound the bolus, breaking it into chunks. Hormones secreted by cells in the lining trigger the release of acids and enzyme-rich juices from the stomach wall that start to dissolve the food and break down its proteins. These hormones also alert the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to produce digestive juices and transfer bile, a yellowish-green liquid that digests fat, in preparation for the next stage. After 3 hours inside the stomach, the once shapely bolus is now a frothy liquid called chyme, and it's ready to move into the small intestine. The liver sends bile to the gallbladder, which secretes it into the first portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Here, it dissolves the fats floating in the slurry of chyme so they can be easily digested by the pancreatic and intestinal juices that have leached onto the scene. These enzyme-rich juices break the fat molecules down into fatty acids and glycerol for easier absorption into the body. The enzymes also carry out the final deconstruction of proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. This happens in the small intestine's lower regions, the jejunum and ileum, which are coated in millions of tiny projections called villi. These create a huge surface area to maximize molecule absorption and transference into the bloodstream. The blood takes them on the final leg of their journey to feed the body's organs and tissues. But it's not over quite yet. Leftover fiber, water, and dead cells sloughed off during digestion make it into the large intestine, also known as the colon. The body drains out most of the remaining fluid through the intestinal wall. What's left is a soft mass called stool. The colon squeezes this byproduct into a pouch called the rectum, where nerves sense it expanding and tell the body when it's time to expel the waste. The byproducts of digestion exit through the anus, and the food's long journey, typically lasting between 30 and 40 hours, is finally complete.
We have completed the nutrition chapter in one sitting. I didn't expect it.
I too didn't expect it. Otherwise, it would have taken me a day to complete this chapter.
So, all of you who are watching this video, subscribe and tap the bell icon to get post notifications from Iacademy.